Okay, so hey everyone, welcome to the EFS lab. So in this lab, what we are going to do is we are going to create an EFS file system, and then we are going to create two EC2 instances, and we are going to add this file system as a mount to both of those EC2 instances to a respective, folder within those two EC2 instances, and we will see that we can share this file system across multiple EC2 instances. So when we write a file to the first EC2 instance, automatically we will see that the file is being displayed in the second EC2 instance when we look at the same directory, right? So let us go ahead and create a file system first, and I'll walk you through the steps of doing that. So you have to go ahead and choose a VPC where you want to create your file system first, and you have to choose all of your availability zones or the availability zones that you require. And you can see that we are using security groups over here, which is also an additional security layer for your resources within your VPC. So we are going to stick to the default security group over here, right? And even the EC2 instances that I'm going to launch will also use the default security group just for demo purposes, right? And let's go ahead and click on the next step. So you can see you can give a tag name. So I'm just going to call this as my EFS sample. And then you can see we can enable lifecycle management over here. And this will automatically save up to 92% on your EFS bill because, all of the data that you store within that EFS file store will be on the standard by default. But then some of the not frequently accessed data or the infrequently accessed data can be transitioned to the EFS IA storage class. And you can see the lifecycle policy supports 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, and so on. So 7 days since last access, or 30 days since last access, and 60 and 90. So we're going to go with 30 days since last access. And the throughput mode that we are going to go for is the bursting throughput mode, right? And the performance mode that we are going to go for is general purpose. But if you would like more provision throughput, or you want to have much more faster read write speed, and you want to go with thousands of EC2 instances being attached to this file system, then I would suggest going with max IO and with provision throughput, right? And we are going to enable encryption of data at rest. So you can choose a KMS master key over here, which is created by AWS for us for Elastic File System. Or if you have any other KMS key that you would like to include over here, you can include that. Or even if you have the KMS key in another AWS account, you can also add that over here. This is a key management service of AWS that allows us to encrypt our data at rest, right? So you can see over here, you can also configure client access. So you can specify a policy over here for your EFS file system to disable root access by default, or enforce read-only access by default, and also enforce in-transit encryption for all clients, which means you will be enabling HTTPS or TLS on your file system, right? So which also enables encryption of your data in transit. You can go ahead and create access points too, but this is out of the scope of this exam. Which means this will allow you to, in fact, specify that this particular user has only access to this particular folder within that file system, right? So this particular user, in the sense, it could be an IAM user, it could be a user in your organization. So when they access the file system, they will have only access to that respective folder. So that kind of granular permissions can also be given to restrict your access within the file system, right, to respective folders. So we are on the review screen right now, and let's go ahead and create this file system. So in the meantime that this file system is created and it comes up, let's go ahead and launch EC2 instances into the default VPC so that we can mount those EC2 instances to our file system. So even though the file system says that it's in the available status right now, you can see that the mount targets are being created. And so in the meantime, let's go ahead and launch our EC2 instances. So you're going to click on launch EC2 instance. We are going to choose Amazon Linux AMI. We are going to go with T2 Micro. I'm going to launch two EC2 instances over here. And by default, it will be within the default VPC. It will be spread across availability zones. The add storage is our root volume, where we need our operating system, this particular storage. So we are adding two EBS volumes, so one for each EC2 instance, right, with 8 gigs of storage with general purpose SSD as a volume type. We're going to add tags. I'm just going to call this as EFS test. The security group I'm going to give for these EC2 instances are the same security group that I gave for the EFS file system, which is the default security group. So let me just find that out. So this is my default security group. So I have port 22 open up to my public IP, and all the other traffic is only within the security group, right? So if suppose my EFS volume, if my EFS file system and these EC2 instances are with the same security group, which means they will be able to interact with each other. But if you're working in an organization, you could have your own security group created for the EFS file system as well as for the EC2 instances, but ensure that you allow all of the traffic to go from your EFS file system to your EC2 instance, right? So in your EC2 instances security group, you can mention the source as a security group of your EFS file system. So that's the same thing that you did with load balancers and EC2 instances. So that could also be done over here in order to tie down your security group to have much more restrictive actions. Let's click on review and launch. Let's click on launch. I'm going to choose my key pair. I acknowledge that I have that key pair, and I'm going to launch the instances. Cool. So I'm just going to, specify the test tag. So you can see that we have two EC2 instances that are in the pending state, right? So once these guys come up to the running state, we can go ahead and add our file system as mounted point to a respective directory within these EC2 instances. So if you go back to your file system, you can see that there are some mount instructions. So you can see the mount instructions if you want to do it from within your local VPC, or if you have some VPC peering in place, which we studied before, wherein we can interact with the resources within two VPCs that we peer to each other. You can do EFS mount across peering connections. And also you can do EFS mount to your on-premise infrastructure EC2 instances. So let's just refresh this guy and let's see if the status is available. All of our mount target states. Yep, all of them are available. And let's click on this mount instruction for our local VPC, which we are going to test out right now. You can see over here, if you're using the Amazon Linux AMI, you have to install the Amazon EFS utils. But if you're using the Red Hat Linux or the SUSE Linux, or if you're using the Ubuntu, you have to install the NFS utils and NFS common accordingly. And then to mount your file system, you have to SSH into the EC2 instance. Let's create a directory called as EFS. Let's go ahead and mount the EFS directory using the TLS mount option or without the TLS mount option. But if you're using the NFS utils or the NFS common, you have to go ahead and use the NFS client to go ahead and mount your EFS file system to your EC2 instance. Okay, so let's go ahead and first log into two of our EC2 instances. So let me click on the EFS test. Let me copy the public IP of the first EC2 instance. Let me open up my terminal. So I'm opening up two terminal windows. The first terminal window, I'm going to set the color to green. My second terminal window, I'm going to set the color to orange, orangish brown. Good that I have MacBook. Very happy with it. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the downloads directory where I have my key pair. Now let me go ahead and do the SSH command. Okay. So we are establishing the connection with the first EC2 instance. Cool. So we are within the first EC2 instance. Let me elevate my privileges to super user. Cool. So let me also go ahead and copy the public IP of the second EC2 instance. Let me go to my second terminal window. Let me go into the downloads directory and SSH into that EC2 instance. Awesome. We are connected to both of our EC2 instances. So let's go ahead and copy that command to install the EFS utils, Amazon EFS utils. So let me copy this command. Let me paste it in both of my terminal windows for both of the EC2 instances. Yep. So once it has completely installed this, let me create a new directory. So let me call the directory as EFS. Even in the second instance, let me also go ahead and create a directory, mkdir EFS. So now let us go ahead and mount the EFS file system to those two EC2 instances. So we are mounting the file system. Let me just copy this command. Yes, it has mounted it to the first EC2 instance. Let us also mount it to the second EC2 instance. Cool. So let me go ahead and add a file to the EFS directory. So we have echoed out hello to index.html in the first EC2 instance. Let's go to the second EC2 instance into the EFS directory. And let's check whether we have that file. Beautiful. We have the index.html over here in the second EC2 instance. when we add it to the first. Let us add one file over here and let's see if it reflects over that. So here we have added, from the second instance, we have added an error.html. Let's go ahead and check whether that error.html is over here also. Beautiful. So now how do we check where it's been mounted? So df-h, this is a command that you can use to check all of your mounts. So you can see over here, we have the mount being done to home EC2 user to the EFS directory. So let us also check the mount over here, df-h. Cool. So you can see over here, our file system is also being mounted, which is 8 exabytes in storage. 8.0e is exabytes, and you can see it's also mounted over here, right? So cool. So you can just go ahead and play around with EFS. So you can have multiple teams working on the same file system files in parallel whenever they want to. Instead of using EBS, when you want to share your storage across multiple EC2 instances, the highest recommended strategy would be to go with EFS storage, right? So you only pay for the storage that you store within that EFS file system, right? And obviously that, I mean, if you're connecting it to your on-premise infrastructure, you would connect it over a direct connect connection or a VPN connection that you establish. Okay. So thanks a lot for taking your time to look at this section wherein we have discussed about EFS and also its practicality. So thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.